All right, let's dive into a single moment. A moment that didn't just end one man's life, but completely changed the game for American history. We're talking, of course, about the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln.
So that's really the big question here, isn't it? How could a single gunshot, just one, change the entire course of a nation? Well, it's an incredible story. We're talking about meticulous planning, unbelievable violence, and a conspiracy that was actually trying to take out the entire U.S. government.
Okay, so let's set the stage. The Civil War? It's finally over. Washington, D.C. is just buzzing with celebration. You can feel the energy. And the president, he's just looking for a bit of a break, a moment of peace. So he decides to go see a play. But here's the thing. While the whole city is breathing this huge sigh of relief, nobody has any idea that the night is about to take a seriously dark and permanent turn.
So here we are. It's April 14th, 1865, Good Friday, and the place is Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. Now, this was the perfect spot for someone like the president to unwind, be seen by the public, but it was also, terrifyingly, the perfect opportunity for something awful to happen.
And listen, this place was packed. We're talking about 1,700 people crammed in there. They were all excited to see this hit comedy called Our American Cousin. So the energy is just electric, people are laughing, it's loud, and for a little while, the president is just another guy in the audience enjoying the show.
Now let's zoom in on the presidential box, all decorated with flags. Who's there? Well, you've got President Lincoln and the First Lady, Mary Todd Lincoln, and they're joined by a young couple, Major Henry Rathbone and his fiancée Clara Harris. It's this small private group, and they have absolutely no idea that they are sitting right in the middle of a ticking time bomb.
So, while everyone's eyes are glued to the stage, there's another actor backstage, so to speak, getting ready for his own performance. And this one, it was going to be deadly. You have to understand, this wasn't random, not at all. This was planned, right down to the very second.
And the killer wasn't some shadowy figure. No, it was John Wilkes Booth, one of the most famous actors in America at the time. Think about that. Being an actor gave him two huge advantages. First, he knew Ford's Theater inside and out. Every hallway, every door. And second, no one would think twice about seeing him there. He belonged.
Everything came down to timing. At around 10:15 at night, Booth just walks right into the presidential box. It was unguarded. Unbelievable, right? And then he just waits. He's waiting for one specific moment in the play. A line he knows is going to get a huge laugh from the crowd. Why? Because that laughter would be the perfect camouflage for the sound of his gun.
And this is the line, the one that triggers it all. An actor on stage yells, "You soxadoologizing old man-trap," and the entire theater just erupts in laughter. In that exact instant, as the sound fills the room, Booth makes his move. He steps forward, raises a .44 Derringer pistol, and fires, point blank, into the back of the president's head. Just think about that contrast. The biggest laugh of the night covering up the most tragic moment in a generation. Suddenly, everything changes. The gunshot throws the entire theater into absolute chaos and confusion. And in those first few moments, two things are happening at once. Booth starts his wild, almost theatrical escape, and President Lincoln, well, he begins the last few tragic hours of his life.
I mean, Booth's escape was something out of a play itself. Major Rathbone tries to stop him, so Booth slashes him with a huge knife. Then, he literally leaps from the presidential box down onto the stage below and actually breaks his leg when he lands. He screams a line out to the stunned crowd, and then he's gone, out the back door and into the night, starting what would become a massive 12-day manhunt.
And what did he shout? Sic semper tyrannis. It's Latin, and it's actually the state motto of Virginia. It means thus always to tyrants. So in Booth's warped mind, this wasn't a cold-blooded murder, no. He saw himself as a hero, killing a tyrant. It was his own sick justification for assassinating the very man who had just held the country together.
So while Booth is making his getaway, all attention is back on the president. He's unconscious. They carry him across the street to a nearby boarding house because the doctors knew right away the wound was fatal. And for the next 9 long hours, his cabinet and the doctors could do nothing but watch and wait. Abraham Lincoln died at 7:22 the next morning.
But here's where the story gets even bigger. See, killing Lincoln wasn't the whole plan, not even close. It was just the main event in a much larger conspiracy. a plot designed to completely cripple the U.S. government by taking out its top leaders all at once.
Okay, so there were 3 targets that night. Booth, of course, had Lincoln. Then an accomplice named George Atzerodt was supposed to kill the vice president, Andrew Johnson. But, get this, the guy completely lost his nerve and just went drinking instead. At the exact same time, another guy, Lewis Powell, had the job of killing the Secretary of State, William Seward, at his house.
And the way Seward survived is just, wow. It's unbelievable. Powell gets into his house and attacks him viciously right in his bed. But here's the crazy part. Seward had been in a bad carriage accident just days earlier. He was wearing this heavy-duty metal jaw splint as part of his recovery. And that splint, that simple medical device, ended up deflecting the knife blade just enough to miss his jugular vein. It literally saved his life.
So you can just imagine the impact of all this. In just a few hours, the entire mood of the country was shattered. One minute, people are celebrating the end of a long, bloody war. The next, they're plunged into this deep, profound mourning. And the future, which had just started to look hopeful, was suddenly terrifyingly uncertain.
It was just complete emotional whiplash for the entire nation. Victory instantly turned into tragedy. Celebration became mourning. And that idea of a gentle, merciful reunification that Lincoln had championed, gone. In its place was just this deep, painful uncertainty. The whole path forward for the country, the path of Reconstruction, was changed forever in that one night.
And that leaves us with one last, really chilling thought to consider. We know Booth succeeded, but the rest of his conspiracy fell apart. So you have to wonder, what if it hadn't? What would have happened to the United States if, on that one single night, the country woke up without a president, without a vice president, and without a Secretary of State? Just think about that.